Take me out to California. Take me out to California.
Hi everyone, today on the channel we are talking about paranoia. Oh, it's a big one. So paranoia is that feeling that perhaps people are talking about you or laughing at you. When you go out, maybe you think that people are pointing and staring at you or considering you in some way, and you worry maybe your friends aren't contacting you because they don't like you anymore, and you spend your time concocting stories, more often than not based on reality. So I get a lot of messages on Instagram and Facebook and on here as well from people who are worried that maybe their friends aren't contacting them enough, or they have had friends who have arranged a night out and maybe they haven't been invited, or two friends went to soft play with their kids and they didn't get that invite, or their friend didn't message back. And it's a really big thing for people, and it's more often based on this story that you've created. Rarely, in truth, is it based on the reality of the situation. So I'm going to share with you some tips on how to deal with that feeling of paranoia, because it doesn't feel good, does it? It definitely does not feel a good space to be in when you feel consumed with all of these thoughts about the world trying to get at you. So let me share them with you. So number one, when you have a situation where you feel paranoid about that situation and you're worrying about it, your mind right now is probably taking you straight to the worst outcome. Your friend didn't text back. It's because she hates you. So she hates you and she wishes death upon your family. You go to the most extreme situation because perhaps you're not in the best headspace right now. So what I want you to do is, when you find yourself doing that and that you went straight to that negative thing, I want you to think about all of the potential outcomes of that, all of the potential versions of that story. So your friend doesn't text you back. What other reasons could it be that your friend hasn't texted you back? Her phone's broke, he's been busy, he's had loads of work on, he's not been very well, he saw your message and thought that he'd responded. That's me all the time. There could be so many different versions, good and bad. It could be worse. It could be I don't know, whatever. I'm sure that if you're in a negative frame of mind, you can think of the bad ones, but I want you to think of all of the different outcomes. And when you do that, maybe you want to write that down, you can see that the truth is that you've come up with one version of that and you've steadfastly stuck to it, and then you've built a story around that, and you're making yourself feel pretty rubbish. But look at all of the different reasons why that could have actually happened. And I want you to do that with any situation when it comes up, and have a real good look at that and recognize there's loads of different versions, there's loads of different reasons, and do not fixate on that one reason until you have all of the facts. Number two, when you have this negative thought, so let's say the negative thought is that you had your hair cut, you're feeling quite good, and then you go into work, and at the same time you went into work, you heard somebody laughing and you felt a bit nervous about going in with a new hairdo. I don't know how bad, I don't know what this hairdo is going to be. It could be just a trim, it could be something, you've had a buzz cut, you've had it all off. You walk into work and you heard someone laugh, and then it made you worry that everybody was laughing at you. So you've told yourself the story that everybody is laughing at your hair. Everybody in the office is laughing at your hair. For every one of these thoughts that you have, I want you to sit down and think of two realistic thoughts about that thing. So if it's that example that I just used, everybody is laughing at your hair. One, realistically, is your hair going to make everybody laugh all day? Is it that funny? Probably not. Probably not that funny. Even if they were to laugh at it for 5 minutes, probably not. They're not going to be laughing at it all day. Is everybody looking at it, laughing at it? Probably not everybody, because some people will have work to do, so not everybody. Number two, realistically, have people got better things to do with their time, and probably more important things to do with their time, than be laughing at you and your hair? Definitely. 2 realistic thoughts. So for every time you think of something negative where you're like, oh, my friend didn't message me back, my boyfriend didn't ring me when he said he was going to, I don't know what it is, whatever the thoughts are, instead of jumping straight to the extreme, I want you to think of 2 realistic thoughts about that situation. Number 3 is to put yourself in other people's shoes. Are you obsessing about other people's lives the same way that you are assuming that they are obsessing over yours? Probably not. Do you know why? Because we've all got our own stuff going on. We're all doing our best, we're all just trying to get through life, and we haven't got time to be obsessing over whether we sent that text message back, or whether somebody's hair is different, or whether they've got some different shoes on, or they've gained or lost weight. We're not obsessing in the same way that your paranoid mind wants you to think that we are. So I want you to consider that when you have those thoughts, they are kind of ego driven. They're assuming that people feel that way, that people are spending that time thinking about you, and they're probably not, in a positive or negative way, if the truth be told, which kind of hurts our feelings a bit, because we want to imagine that we are the center of the universe. We don't consciously think that, but subconsciously we all want to feel important. And what the paranoid brain is doing when you are having those negative thoughts and those worry thoughts is it is kind of telling you that you think everybody's obsessing over you, and they're not. So think about it. Think about when somebody has a new haircut at work, or when somebody gets some new shoes. Do you spend the rest of your day laughing about it, or considering it, or worrying about it, or being critical about that person? Even if you dislike the haircut, even if you think, oh, Gemma's had a haircut, doesn't look great, that's probably the only thought you've had. You don't hysterically laugh about Gemma's haircut for the rest of the day. You don't judge Gemma because of the haircut. It's just not like that. We don't spend our time doing that. So why are you assuming that people are doing that to you? They're not. Let it go. They're not doing that. So I want you to consider that. Walk around in other people's shoes for a moment and consider whether you would do that. Probably wouldn't. Number 4, I would like you to allow yourself to have a worry window. So if you are somebody that has these thoughts going on all day, and I know many of you do because I get the messages, and you're worried about this all day, allow yourself a window. So you go, all right, Holly, the thoughts have been coming up, the negative thoughts. Here's your time. You get yourself a cup of tea or whatever else, and you sit down and you go, okay, I'm gonna give myself 10 minutes. You might even want to put an alarm on your phone. I sometimes do this when I need to just get some thoughts clear in my head, or I need to feel sad and get things out. I think, okay, have your time, have your moment. Put a timer on your phone, give yourself 10 minutes and have a worry. Go on, have a real good worry. Stew on all of that stuff. But then I want you to recognize at the end of that worry window that it's you that's causing you the pain. That none of the things that you have decided in your mind that are happening are the thing that's causing you pain. Your worrying and your obsessing is the thing that's doing it. So then you have to decide, are you going to continue that? You're going to continue causing yourself pain based on non-factual stuff, just stuff that you think might be happening, or are you going to go, enough? And you distract yourself, you're going to move forward. Maybe you're going to even have a conversation with that friend. Oh, I saw that you went out with Sarah and Joe the other day. I'd love to have come to that. Would, like, next time you go, would, like, drop me a line, drop me a message, give me a call, let me know. I'd love to have gone to that. And do you know what? If they're your mates, they'll go, oh God, no, do you know what? We didn't even think. We were so blooming busy. It was a last minute thing. We didn't even think about it. That's what often happens. I know myself personally, I've got friends who are a little bit sensitive in this way, and I am often in a bubble of my own. I've got the kids to deal with, I've got the kids' grief to work through, I've got work stuff, I work for myself, I've got stuff I'm filming and business stuff and running a home and cleaning and just life. And you know what? The truth is, we're all in our own heads, and I don't have time always to message people back. I've got friends of mine who will, you know, will agree that I'm terrible sometimes. I have lots of messages and emails I don't always keep on top of. And yeah, that's what happens to life. And sometimes it'll be a last minute thing. You'll ring someone, or you'll, you know, have a conversation, think, oh, we can take the kids to soft play. Do you want to go to soft play? That doesn't mean that you invite the whole of your phone book, and it doesn't mean that you dislike the people that you didn't invite. And if somebody doesn't respond to your message, sometimes it's just because they forgot. And that's just it. Life got in the way. And your real friends, you often don't speak to for a long time, but you know that they're your real friends because you don't doubt it. So focus your mind on that. Allow yourself the worry time, and then we're going to move forward from worry time. The last thing, and this is quite an important one, is building your resilience and learning to accept criticism when criticism comes. Now, sometimes, and this can often be, this could be friends or work or whatever, it could be social relationships or it could be a work thing. But if somebody is giving you a constructive criticism, learn to understand, listen to the message. Also listen to where it's coming from and who's telling you that. If it's a boss who has given you some constructive criticism on some of your work, the paranoid brain could tell you that they hate you and you're probably going to get the sack and that you're having workplace bullying done to you. Or you could accept that we are not good at everything and that we always have a place to learn, and that sometimes people are going to say, do you know what, that wasn't your best work. That doesn't mean they don't think you're good at stuff. It just means that they don't think this particular bit of work was your best bit of work. Or maybe a friend says that you are too sensitive or too clingy, or I don't know, that could be a valid criticism if you're feeling in that headspace. And hopefully a friend would say that in a way that was meant with love. But don't always fly off the handle. Don't always assume the worst, because sometimes people are saying hard truths to you because they love you and they want you to move forward. And that can be hard to stomach. None of us like that. None of us like criticism. Doesn't matter how constructive it is. We don't want to be criticised on what we're doing because we know we don't really know what we're doing and we're just trying our best. So it does sting, but learn to accept that and learn to listen to where the message is coming from. And hopefully then you can go, okay, that did sting a bit because I did try with that work and it clearly wasn't my best. What can I learn from this? How can I move forward? Because honestly, when you spend your day being super sensitive to the world and allowing everything that happens to like penetrate your heart, it's painful. And it's okay to be a sensitive person. You are beautiful people. I would say I'm a sensitive person in terms of being aware and people's energies and you know, that kind of thing. But we have to learn to, I guess, not take ourselves too seriously and know that the world doesn't revolve around us. There's a bigger picture. And when we focus in on these tiny little things and we stew, it's really only us that is causing us the pain. So that's my thoughts. And I really genuinely, because I know that people that feel like this a lot, it's a really painful place to be. And the most important thing is that you work on your own mind, because when you get that right, you don't think in that way. I've been there. I'm not saying this from a place of never having had these thoughts or felt these feelings, because I have. But now I do a lot of work on my mind, and I generally don't feel like that. If somebody doesn't message me back, my first thought isn't that they dislike me or they're not speaking to me. It just isn't. It's they've probably forgot. I'll message them again and have a pop and go, oi, why not message you back, dickhead? And then we'll move on. Or if somebody goes to soft play with another mom and doesn't invite me, I just think, thank God I didn't have to go to soft play. I just move on. I don't think about it, because and I think this comes from a level of self-esteem. So I guess the work is to be done by you in your own space. Work on yourself and your self-esteem, and just recognize that people aren't out to get you. Most people are pretty good, and then the ones that are dickheads, you'll notice them. They'll be clear as day, and then you just filter them out of your world and you move on. But don't assume, because I see this, don't assume that the world is out to get you and then post stuff on Instagram like you're gonna get yours, karma's gonna bite you on the butt, kind of posts, because the world isn't out to get you. You don't have haters. You're not Jennifer Lopez, okay? I'm sorry, I am Jennifer Lopez in my head. In my head I am Jennifer Lopez. I know the exterior doesn't reflect that, but nobody, not you, not anybody, is going to tell me that I am not J-Lo. Ain't happening. Not today. Not in 2019. I am Jennifer Lopez. And on that note, I'm going to go. But those of you who don't know, I have an online course for positive mindset called the Happy Me Project, which you can grab at the link below. It is 30 English pounds, which you can buy wherever in the world, and you can do that 21-day course all on getting your mind right. And in this year I'm going to be doing some workshops in the UK, and if you click the link below, iamhollymatthews.com/workshops, you will see where I'm going to be hanging out, and I would love you to come and hang out with me. That would be great, and we can talk about all this kind of stuff, and I can grab you and shake you, and not literally, just metaphorically, and be like, you're brilliant, you're going to be brilliant, and you're going to be excellent, and you're cool, and give you some skills to help you do this thing, this life stuff. I'd like to see you. Speak soon. Peace.
Take me out to California.